Today on the Nerdy Gritty, after Jerry Thompson boycotts the Magic the Gathering World Championship, we ask, how should professional gamers be compensated by the companies they represent?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm Fox.
I'm Dez. Fox,
Yes.
It's a sad, sad day. Because
okay.
the trailer for Dark Phoenix has dropped recently.
Yep.
And it sure looks like another X-Men movie.
Yep. Here's the thing. I watched it today. I watched it just an hour ago. And I'm glad. I like that it's just called Dark Phoenix. It's got the X with the circle, so it's like X-Men.
Right.
But I like that it's just called Dark Phoenix and not like X-Men, Marvel's X-Men's Dark Phoenix,
Yeah.
It's just called Dark Phoenix. Like, that just makes... everybody knows X-Men. They know what it is. Once they watch the trailer, they're going to be like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's an X-Men movie. That small thing makes me like it a little bit more.
X-Men 3 made me want to fight people. And...
Yep.
And as a guy who, like, they did allude that they might have an actual, like, representation of the actual Phoenix
The
entity.
cosmic entity.
Yeah,
that
the
is
Phoenix. Because they were in space for a little bit, and that was it, though. But mostly, it seemed like they were going back to what X-Men 3 was talking about.
Yeah, it reminded me heavily. It shows young child Jean Grey at the beginning. Professor X does a thing to stop her from recognizing her power. You're like,
and
this movie was made already, guys.
And it was really, really bad.
Yeah,
it was really
very disappointing.
bad.
Yes,
yes,
it was a very disappointing movie, especially coming off of X2, which I think is up there, probably in the top 10 superhero movies.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was very
X2
good,
was
but
really great.
It's really good.
Because it wasn't just here's bad guy, let's kill him. It was heavily about Wolverine's backstory and stuff like
right.
that.
Well, and then, like, how do we treat these beings of ultimate power? Like,
right.
There was a social commentary that was involved in it as well.
They were a little heavy-handed with it in those movies, but
very much
100%,
so.
Yeah.
You didn't like X-Men Origins Wolverine?
That movie is bad.
I thought it was better than X-Men 3.
True story, though. I was at the world premiere for that movie.
Really?
Yes, I was.
I saw X-Men 3 opening night.
The very not like opening night, like red carpet world premiere.
Really?
Celebrities. Hugh Jackman was there.
Yeah, but you weren't in watching the movie then.
I was working at the movie theater.
That's right.
I worked at Harkins movie theaters in Chandler, but they basically had a contest for the world premiere. Where are we going to put it? And we entered and got selected, and it was at the Tempe Town Center. Tempe, I don't know. It was another Harkins theater, and they needed more people, and I was a pretty good employee, so they asked me to go over there.
Did you see anybody famous?
I did. I was standing in front of another theater, so that people wouldn't go in.
Okay.
If they weren't supposed to, but I was like halfway down the hallway, and I could see them walking in. So
nice.
I saw them, and I also did get to see the movie that night.
Really?
Yeah, because they had an employee screening room.
That's
I was able
awesome.
to go to. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. And
did you grope Hugh Jackman?
No, not that night. That's much more.
Not without him knowing.
That's much more recently.
Or not with him knowing.
Yeah. But yeah, I was at that. Yeah, it's
That's
a bad
cool.
movie except for the first half an hour. First half an hour is really great, and then it's bad.
I went to an early premiere of the Doom movie with Carl Urban and Dwayne The Rock
Netflix
Johnson.
Again,
and
it's a bad movie.
It's so wonderfully bad, though. Like, hilarious. I love it.
Why did they choose to base it the most on Doom 3? The least popular.
I think Doom 3 had recently released.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
It basically was. Here's the thing, though. When I was watching it, it was essentially the first Resident Evil movie, but it was Doom themed instead.
Okay.
They were essentially the same thing. It's a group of dudes. There's just no what's her name? Lady person.
Alice.
No
There's
just no Alice. It's just a bunch of soldiers going to a place with an evil threat that they gotta kill.
Yeah.
And neither of them really are capturing the essence of what they're trying to.
That was popular at the time, though. There were a lot of movies like that.
It was definitely an early 2000s, late 90s kind of like we're on a mission, got to shoot a big evil monster thing.
Right.
And it's like, oh, this is boring. And I hate the first person part It makes no sense.
We cheered so okay because the reason I got this was because I was a manager at GameStop at
Yep.
the time, and so they handed out to a bunch of like managers and assistant managers in video game stores.
Yep.
So that it would get hyped up in video game areas.
Sure.
And so it was all video game nerds here.
Yeah.
And the moment like he looks up and he sees himself in that first person mode, we were like, oh.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's also dumb. There's a reason why that works in a video game and not in a movie, because it looks so phony when you're in a movie.
No,
like,
man.
yeah, it was real disappointing. But speaking of Doom, this is not news, but you did not know about it,
I
and
did
it's
not.
a great story. It came out a while ago that this was a thing, but I watched GDC, Game Developers Conference.
Right.
They've been filming a lot of their like not panels, but like presentations, which are super cool.
I'm gonna pause you right there for a second. There was a while when I kept getting GDC and GDQ confused.
Oh, yeah?
Because quick has the C sound at the beginning. It's quick.
Yeah.
And so people like GDC. I'm like, game's done quick. Wait a second. I can spell.
Nope.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's been really cool to like see some behind the scenes stuff about how games are made. They do a thing called like a classic game postmortem. So like one of the creators of Diablo spoke for about 45 minutes, just like, here's what we did right, here's what we did wrong, here's what like.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's really fun to learn about that. But one of my favorites has been it was the composer for the new Doom, for Doom 2016.
Right.
And he, for like 45 minutes to an hour, basically just went super deep on how they made that soundtrack. It was really funny to see what his like brief was when they were like, we would like you to do this. Here's what we want. No guitars. It needs to be instantly loved by millions of people, and also something completely unique. And he, like,
wow.
Yeah, which he's like, yeah, that's actually not super uncommon. Everybody wants their music to be amazing and loved by everybody.
Yeah, but
and
to demand that, like, just to say, like, it has to be loved. How do I do that?
I mean, no, essentially, yeah. But he's like, it sounds funny, but that's essentially what they said. That's what they said to him.
He just remixes Beyonce songs
No.
and then puts it to Doom.
Ooh, I'd play that Doom game. I'd feel powerful.
Yeah.
I'm an independent.
Empowered.
I'm
That's right.
I'm an independent Doom
Doom
Slayer.
guy.
I don't need no demons. So he goes into real deep on like his equipment that he used and the process he used, and it was really cool. And at a certain point, though, he starts talking about after he's got like his instrument, which is like this huge array of like pedals and all these things that he siphoned everything through. He's got like he's in the process of really making the music, and not how to make it, but making it. And he's got this bass line, and it basically is this dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, 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 and then a pause, and then that triplet again.
Yeah.
And not triplet, that's not the right word, but that like 3-note thing. And he's like, this seems interesting. What could I do here? I could make it sound a little cooler or put something interesting. And he has this program, which essentially, through magic, I guess, allows you to take an image file and using what's called a spectrograph, basically convert an image into a sound file.
Mm-hmm.
But it retains, if you look at it on a sound wave or, like any kind of recording Audition would do, you can look at it, it would still retain the shape of that picture, but just be a sound file instead. So it would make
That's
whatever
so
sound.
weird.
Yeah, it's really cool. And he's like, "This is Doom. You're in hell. Demons." He found a picture of the number 6, and basically converted into a sound file. And so there is a bass track somewhere in Doom that along with these 6s that match up with those bass line, the dun 6 dun,
So it's 666.
essentially. But in between is this big space. He put in a picture of a pentagram, which is just right on brand for
Yeah,
Doom.
it's so good. Self-aware,
But also hilarious. And he's like, he did it for kicks and gigs. I thought it was like a fun thing to do. Obviously, I didn't really have. I don't understand how this would be some sort of satanic thing. Like,
right.
A, he doesn't believe in that, and B, how is that going to affect a person?
Right.
It's just a sound file. But inevitably,
Of course.
what he did was send it to them and not tell anybody, according to him. And then he's like, nobody's gonna find this anyway.
Because he just sent the music, not the spectrograph.
Yeah. You have to like crack open the game, use all these programs to figure out and look at it as if it were a picture instead of crazy. But of course, people found it because the internet is the internet and is the greatest detective agency of all time.
It's insane.
So they figured it out, and videos came out where it's just like, id Software's teaching your kids to be Satanists and all this stuff and whatever. That's a whole topic. But he was like, well, it happens. Obviously, it didn't really have any effect. It was far enough after the game came out that it didn't affect sales or anything, and it probably would have just made people want to get it more
just
anyway.
boosted them. Yeah,
right, exactly. It's like putting the parental guidance or parental advisory on the cover of a CD. You're like, kids just want it more now.
Yeah.
You're not helping anybody. You're not helping your cause. And he's like, but that's not where it ends. And at a certain point, he was creating what you call like this drone sound, where it's just kind of this like, it's used in horror a lot, where it's not really specific tones or anything. It's just kind of, he took a violin bow or a bow for a stringed instrument and dragged it across a guitar and did that a bunch of times and layered it over itself. So it's just this really unsettling, it's used in horror a lot. And it sounds really cool. He's like, how can I make this better? And he remembered the idea of backmasking, which is what they used to do, or what is done sometimes in audio files, where if you like play them backward, you'll hear a message.
Oh, yeah.
This happened a lot in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
There was this whole satanic panic thing.
Right.
Songs like Stairway to Heaven, if you play it backward at a certain point and you listen to it and you really want it to say this, it'll sound like, my sweet Satan, he takes us out to the shed where he does something. You know, like,
well, even there was Britney Spears songs, if you played them backwards.
Yeah, 100%.
It was like, if you think about it, she says, sleep with me, I'm not too young.
Right. Sometimes it is intentional. 100%. Sometimes they do it intentionally. Sometimes it's not. Whatever. It was a big thing. People were like, oh, you play your record backward, you're going to summon Satan or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, that sounds like something I should do.
It's very on brand.
Right. It's very on brand. So he took this and like he played it forward, and it's like this drone noise, and then like this like really like creepy whispering. It's just like, you know, it sounds like Parcel Tongue from Harry Potter. And he's like, that's what it sounds like forward. You play it backward in mono, and it sounds like this. Jesus loves you. that is legitimately in the Doom files.
Yes.
If you found that specific thing, he put it. And the kicker was, the best part of this whole thing was, how many articles were written about that?
None.
Zero.
People
would rather find Satan than Jesus.
Yep.
Which is a whole thing we could talk about, actually. But
hilarious.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
Jesus loves you.
Man, Doom's so great in every way.
That's wonderful. I appreciate him so much.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
I have not been watching really cool Doom things. I actually finished season 7 of Once Upon a Time. I started talking about that last time.
Sure, you did.
And I finished it, and
Did it hold up?
Very much so.
Really?
And this is why. It was the series finale, for one. I didn't realize that.
Okay, so it's actually done now.
Yeah, the series is done now.
Okay.
And they kind of rebooted the series with this season.
That's
and they
weird.
picked one story. They told it in its entirety in one season. They were able to build the 3 or 4 characters they wanted to build.
Huh.
They were able to reintroduce the 3 or 4 characters from the old series into this. And they were able to focus on that small handful of characters.
Smart.
And it went really well for them.
Yeah.
Whereas with the old series, they introduced every single Disney character. Oh my gosh. Yes.
All the stories.
They did half seasons. Like there was half season stories. So it'd be like 11 episodes about Elsa and Anna. And yeah. And
I remember when they first announced that Frozen was coming to
Once Upon a Time.
It felt so disingenuous.
It was.
It
that
felt
entire
just
half
like,
season was so forced.
You guys like this? Look, it's got it now. Like it didn't. Like you clearly didn't start with a story in mind. You just wanted to get something in there.
Right.
Yeah. That was annoying.
But this season did a really good job of like it touched on poverty in an inner city area. It touched on mental health and how much people will believe you or trust you if you are a mentally ill person. It touched on family and like what is genuinely family compared to just blood, like caring about something.
gotcha.
Like, it touched on a lot of different things, and it was really, really good.
That's a thing that I think Dark Phoenix should hope has the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
Mental illness.
Oh, absolutely.
To talk about like Jean Grey and just the struggle she's going through and people using her and that kind of thing. But unfortunately, it's probably not going to be.
No, it's probably
going
not
to be
gonna do
about
it.
fighting whatever bad guy there is.
Which I'm really interested because classically in the comics, Wolverine has pretty much always been the one to kill Phoenix, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And that's been like kind of a running thing where he's the only one willing to do it.
Right.
But Wolverine doesn't exist in the X-Men universe anymore.
He does.
I mean,
he's
exists,
not part
but-
of the crew, though.
Well, more than anything, just because Hugh Jackman isn't going to play him anymore.
Well, sure. That's true. That's true. He could still show up as somebody else, of course. But
Right.
Because he showed up in the last one very briefly when they released him Weapon X, and that was the best scene in that movie.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen, how they take on that, but also my expectations are very low. I have
very
not been a
low.
huge fan of most X-Men movies, really.
Right. Speaking of low expectations.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, it's good. It seems that Jerry Thompson has developed low expectations of Wizards of the Coast because Jerry Thompson is a professional Magic the Gathering player. He is a 2-time winner, I believe, 2 times of the World Championship. He's well known amongst those who follow the professional players, and he has recently been invited to the World Championship again.
Yes, this took place this weekend.
Right.
Yeah,
So he was invited to the World Championship
last weekend. The weekend before you're hearing this, not 2 days ago, but a weekend 2 days ago.
Right.
Sorry.
So he arrived, checked in, got in his hotel, told everybody, "Hey, I'm here," and then dropped out. The night before, dropped out. And he specifically did it this way because he didn't want to drop out way early because, and this is kind of his point, he's not very well known. And so if he were to just say, "Hey, I'm not going this year," and then put it up on his Twitter or put it up on anything, like, it may not get that much circulation.
It'd be a big deal to that circle of people.
Right. But now anybody who's aware of the World Championship, the Magic World Championship, is going to see that there are only 23 players when there's usually 24 invites.
Yes.
And there's going to be the question, where is the 24th player?
Sure.
And then that will immediately be responded to, well, Jerry Thompson is protesting the Magic World Tour or the Magic World Championship. And the reason he's doing this is because he feels that Wizards of the Coast is taking advantage of the professional players. He's saying that there is an amount of just considering them as tools to be used,
Right.
and not really thinking to themselves like, "Hey, these are people, and
Professional
we can
players that
and we
bring
should
them
respect them or pay them or
Right.
do something to build them up." So, what we're going to be talking about today is what do we think with professional gaming becoming more and more of a thing. This is something we talked about recently with ESPN and ABC picking up on some pro video gaming things. With professional gaming becoming more and more common, how do we think professional gamers should be compensated or in some way treated by the game companies that they represent?
Right. So let's get into the nerdy gritty of this.
So let's get into the nerdy gritty.
You gotta say it every
We
time.
gotta
now.
do it.
Gotta make
I
it a
wish you
thing.
guys could see Kyle's face every time we say it. He's so happy.
It's like a catchphrase.
Yeah.
And then but yeah. So this is a really interesting topic because it's coming along with just the evolution of esports, which is still a pretty controversial topic to a lot of people.
Right.
Whether or not you can call something that you're just sitting there playing a game a sport or not. I am of the opinion that it's just as engaging or dependent on your hand-eye coordination as something like bowling or archery. You know, like it might not have the physical aspect of something like football or whatever, but that's never... Yeah, we don't really have... There's not really any real definition. So, anyway...
Truthfully, I don't think football will exist as it does now in 20 years.
Oh, 100%.
I think it'll just be...
It's moving to a place of... Yeah, maybe we'll get the NFL will be National Flag Football League. How fun would that be?
That would still be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'd watch that.
that'd be great.
I would.
Anyway, You are a sports person, though.
I am a sports person.
You are a sportman, as in
Specifically
somebody
baseball, but
who
I do
really
pay attention to
enjoys
football and basketball as
watching baseball, knows about these things. Definitely more than me.
Yeah.
If this is between us, definitely more than I am. And so while I'm not completely ignorant on sports and how to play them and general things, I went to a lot of baseball games when I was younger. You know more about what the leagues are like, how players interact with the management and the overseeing organizations and stuff. And so I'd like to get your opinion on. I think this is like a time that something like Wizards of the Coast, or Blizzard, or any of these. Well, let's focus on Wizards of the Coast because that's kind of the big thing. But
Right.
How they can avoid more controversy.
So here's kind of the thing right now. So to kind of go more into it, here I got Jerry Thompson posted a big long Reddit post.
Yeah, that was his huge thing.
Here are he has 6 points. Number one, Wizards of the Coast doesn't pay their professionals a living wage. That's not necessary, but if somebody is dreaming of playing on the pro tour someday, if somebody's lifelong dream is to be a professional Magic player, in the same way that so many kids have the lifelong dream of being a professional sports player,
Right.
There has to be some sort of monetary compensation to that as well. He's saying it doesn't. He says the current message with the amount they pay us is don't waste your time. That's his actual quote here. Wizards doesn't promote its players well, so Wizards in no way promotes its professionals. Wizards communication is notoriously poor. They're poor communicators. There are not enough Pro Tour invites to satiate the player base,
Sure.
meaning that there's only 24 World Tour invites. Coverage is still abysmal. Like the publicity behind it all is really, really poor. And there are still cheaters that are notorious cheaters that are still professionally playing Magic right now, and showing that again, Wizards doesn't really care about their pros. So these are his complaints. And here's what I think that something that needs to be gotten on top of right now, right away, and to avoid unions, because unions have hurt professional sports so much up to this point. Every single strike that has ever occurred, whether it's the 94 baseball strike, the 95, I think, hockey strike, the inevitable upcoming 2020 football strike, it's going to happen.
Okay.
And things right now.
Sure.
So it's the type of thing where in the NFL, there are veteran players that when rookies come in, and this is a 100% honest thing, the veterans are teaching the rookies, don't spend your contract money, put it away, invest it, because we're going to strike, and then you're not going to get paid.
Yeah.
So save that money now. And it's just people are teaching that, and it all comes down to because of contract negotiations between unions, between the owners and the players union. And I understand the purpose of unions and that it's meant to protect players and it's meant to protect owners, but what it ends up being every single time is this angry cash grab between the two of them.
Sure.
I think right away from the very base, there needs to be some sort of communication between players and owners, and that comes to, I'm going to say owners over and over again because that's where I as a sports guy am familiar. But
it's not necessarily the same in a
game
Magic
companies,
realm,
yeah,
sure.
Wizards of the Coast or Blizzard or whomever else is doing this. I was literally gonna be like, I mean, who all does professional gaming? StarCraft. Oh, that's Blizzard. Overwatch. Oh wait, that's Blizzard.
Right, that's Blizzard.
So Blizzard and
Riot
Wizards of the Coast.
Games with
Riot.
Yeah, with what's it called?
League of Legends.
League of Legends, yeah.
So anyway, to have some sort of sit down conference or something like that with their recognized professionals. Now,
Sure.
there is a way to recognize professionals in the game. It's saying if you have won this many or if you've earned this much money, every single organization has a time in which you are considered a professional. Sometimes it's even just an invite. We would like to invite you to be a professional.
Right,
Here are
right.
the benefits we give our professionals. And so I think that it should be, okay, let's all come sit down and let's all talk about what we can agree on. And at the end of the day, if they don't agree on something, they have to admit that there has to be some sort of contract or some sort of understanding that says we are not going to try and just be selfish about this. We want to agree on this, on a middle ground on this somewhere. Like an immediate, look, for the next 10 years, you guys are giving us 20% of your Pro Tour profits.
Sure.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And that way there's no, middle ground. There's no percentages are a good
it
number.
sounds like there needs to be some sort of third party.
Oh, that's a
Because
good call.
negotiations generally are between a union, which represents players,
Right.
and the management. And so both of them are biased, essentially.
Yes.
In favor of one or the other. I am part of a union, actually, I drive a school bus, and I am part of a union, and they're currently in negotiations, and it's never a fun process.
Right.
I've not really been involved in it a lot because all the meetings and stuff, I have another job that basically precludes me from participating most of the time. But yeah, it's not a great thing, and it really does sound like in this situation, which could help others probably, that a third party, a lawyer or something of that nature, or something like or just could come in and be a mediator.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're discussing like people's salaries for their living wage, it's
Sure.
really good. Like, I can understand the purpose of unions in that case, but with professional sports, when they're discussing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars,
Yes.
the unions become so selfish, and the unions focus so much, particularly, and this might just be my bias, but the owners are always so much like salary caps are a thing that are often talked about in sports where,
Right.
hey, you know what? Let's give everybody all players a salary cap, but then all the extra money after that just goes to the owners. And it's, yeah, wow. So anyway, it's pretty ridiculous to think that this is going to go smoothly, though. So before they even get off the ground in this, I think there needs, like, Wizards of the Coast needs to say, hey, we want to respect our professional players. Sit down and talk with us about what we can do from the very beginning.
Right. Because there has to be a recognition that this is not I feel like it might be. It seems as though from his complaints, as though Magic is saying, hey, look what we can do for you.
Right.
So you should be a part of this. We can give you money. We can do whatever. Rather than a recognition or just a verbal confirmation that this is a two-way street.
And that's kind of what he's saying right now. He's saying that right now it seems like Magic is in a place where Wizards of the Coast is in a place where they're saying, you get to do this. It is a privilege of yours that you're a professional.
We invited you. Don't you feel special?
Yeah, you're welcome. Like,
Yeah.
The fact that you're getting anything is a thank you. You're welcome. You should be thanking us.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, what Jerry is saying is he's saying, no, this is a mutual thing.
Right.
People who know me want to play the cards that I play.
Yes.
Want to play the deck that I play.
Yeah.
And they go and they purchase your cards to play like me.
The deck he builds becomes what people play.
Right. And that's a lesson that Wizards right now needs to learn from professional sports.
Yeah.
There's teams like, and again, I'm going to get into sports here if some of you guys have no idea, like the California or the Anaheim Angels. The Anaheim Angels have a player named Mike Trout. And Mike Trout is, without question, the best player in baseball.
Delicious.
He is just incredible. He's going to be one of the best players in history,
Sure.
most likely.
Right.
The rest
Everybody
of
knows
their team,
Mike Trout.
the rest of their team is okay. If they took what they paid Mike Trout and kind of spread it out a little bit, they could probably have a decent team. They could probably get some more people,
yeah.
but they're not going to sell as many jerseys. They're not going to. Not as many people are going to pay attention to the Angels. It might not
Because
they
Mike
might not
Trout's
be
going
as
to go
exciting.
somewhere else.
Yeah,
Who's going to pay
Mike
him
Trout?
more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people are going to pay attention to Mike Trout, and they're in this place right now where, you know what, it's worth it to them to keep Mike Trout because he's an exciting player and he brings in the revenue for us.
Yeah.
And that's something that no matter how good the Angels are or not, Mike Trout as a player is going to bring in revenue for the Angels.
Right.
And Wizards can learn that right now. If they have an exciting, talented player, they can bring in more revenue by promoting this player.
Yes.
Look at golf and Tiger Woods.
Sure.
Way back in the
I
day,
often do.
when I'm trying to talk sports here. Dang it. You brought this up. You compared this to real sports. Way back in the day, golf was exclusively for old white men. And that was it. And nobody cared about golf but old white
was a
men.
better time.
And that was Tiger Woods come along, and here's this half Asian, half black young man. Like, I think he was like 20 when he first started on the pro circuit. And
Been playing a while.
and he was just so good, so incredible. And so you know what the PGA did? They promoted him.
Yep.
You know what Nike did? They signed him. And all of a sudden, everybody's paying attention to golf.
Sure.
My brother got into golf when he was probably 18 years old because of Tiger Woods. And it's one of those things where there are a lot of like 35, 40-year-old men today that say, I got into golf because of Tiger Woods when I was a teenager, when I was a young 20s, which wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I think Wizards can benefit from that right now I think they are missing out terribly on the opportunity of promoting their professional circuit.
Yeah. So here's the thing that has to be admitted and recognized by Wizards or by people.
By people.
People. Same with sports. The Anaheim Angels are not a baseball organization, in my opinion.
Right.
They are they're a company trying to make money.
And baseball is one of the ways that they do
care
this.
about money more than they care about the purity or the love of playing baseball.
Very much
Now,
so.
there are people probably involved that are all about baseball itself.
Right.
And see this, I'm not saying that, but the company is going to fall apart if money isn't made. It's not dependent on whether or not people love playing baseball.
If they say, you know what, selling jerseys in a store isn't about baseball,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that.
Oh, yeah, now you
know,
can't. Like, this is how we pay our players.
Putting our logo on a mug doesn't have anything to do with baseball. We're
Right.
not going to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, do it because that's
what you are now. For better or for
Yes.
worse, that's what you are. And Wizards has to recognize the same thing.
yes.
Wizards of the Coast has become more than just we like games and making them for you to play, to an organization who is making money on the branding of things and like putting on tournaments and all this stuff. They are a company that is dependent on not people enjoying playing Magic, but making money off of Magic.
Right.
And other things that they own, of course. And so they need to recognize that the sport or the game is evolving, and that money is being made by people who stream now, by people who do all these things, and they need to go in that direction to support their individuals, not just here's our product here, not just treating their individuals like products.
Right.
And that's the real issue here. And I want to say that there's a little bit of hope. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I also watched, this is funny that this is coming up again, another GDC presentation from Guy Man. I forget his name.
He's real good.
He is basically the lead designer or something similar on Magic the Gathering and has been for 21 years now. And I sent a link to you.
Share that thing.
Yeah, it was 20 lessons he learned in 20 years of Magic.
Right.
And he's not a business guy. He's a game design guy. He's a guy who will like craft the new set and make new mechanics. And he's like the nuts and bolts guy. So it's not necessarily in the same realm. He probably isn't the guy who's making the decisions on how the tournaments get, how they support players and all that. But one of his lessons, actually several of them had a similar idea to them, was don't fight your audience.
Yep.
Don't fight again. If you want a game to play this way, but the players don't want it that way, you're going to lose every time because there are other games. And so if your pro players, if you want them to just be people who are grateful that, they get to be a pro Magic player because 10 years ago, that's like every kid's dream is awesome.
Right.
But now it's reached a point where that is a thing and this is how they make money. The game is changing, both the game itself and also like the metagame, like the surrounding atmosphere of professional gaming. Don't fight your audience. Don't fight both your players, who are the ones getting people interested in Magic, and also the people who are watching this thing, like people who are wanting to see what's going on. You need to evolve with the times.
Yes.
In order to continue doing what you're doing well.
Well, promoting their players it's something that could be huge for them that they're missing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be a professional organization, again, let's go back to sports here for a second. Story, like the story behind like the A's and Moneyball. People know about Moneyball. There's
Sure.
the movie and whatnot.
Brad
Story
Pitt,
behind
one of
like
the best baseball players I've
Babe
ever seen.
Ruth. Like people know who Babe Ruth is and the story of him pointing to the stands. Like there's story. Magic's got great story. It really does.
It does.
A great
Literally
game.
has stories.
Yeah, it has a
Books.
great stories, and it really does. Great
Yeah.
writing. And then great plays, people or like ways that you can play, like a great game system.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Baseball's a good system. Football's a good system. Magic the Gathering is a good system. players is where they are missing out now.
Yeah, exactly.
And where I can tell you, and if you don't pay attention to baseball, you don't know about Giancarlo Stanton or about Aaron Judge or these incredible Yankees players that are on the Yankees right now.
Sure, those guys.
But these are professional players that people are going to tout and to talk about. When I heard Jerry Thompson, right? I'm
Yeah, that's his
rechecking
name,
names.
yes.
Jerry Thompson wasn't going to be at the Magic Pro Tour. My response was, "Who's Jerry Thompson?"
Who? Yeah.
I've been playing since 1993 when the game released. I had no idea who Jerry
Sure.
Thompson was.
Sure. Yeah, and I think you have this opportunity to bring Magic to a place where other games have already been for a couple of years now.
Right.
Fortnite is huge because people like playing it, sure.
Yeah.
But also, you know how much people like watching Ninja play the game?
Right.
Millions. Literally millions of people. You know what they will do if he says, "Oh, I'm going to buy this thing"? Like, there's a reason why they have sponsorships, because they are popular. Pro Magic players have sponsorships because people like what they do and like what they say and will listen to them.
Yeah.
Same with sports. That's the reason why there's Nike, deals, is because people care about what these individuals say. Nike also has other things that's just like, play baseball, I don't know, like
Right.
non-specific. Sure, whatever. I guess that works because they're a big brand and people know what they do. But they continue to support individual players because that's what people really look for.
Well, and all the third party, you're talking about Nike.
Yeah.
Nike has no investment in the actual sport of
Exactly.
baseball, or the actual
Sure,
sport
sure.
of football. They invest in the players. People like Ultra Pro, or Dragon Shield, like these third party organizations
Right.
that make mats or sleeves or whatever else. They would love for you to promote they would love for Wizards to promote the professionals so that then they
So
could
that
go
the products that those professionals are using
right could
are
be
promoted as
there you
well.
go. Yes, and it's like this. It's a win for everybody. Magic just has to step up and say, "Okay, we're willing to do this. We know that it's going to take a little bit extra money at the beginning, a little bit extra effort at the beginning,
Well,
and
sure.
I understand that that's probably not something that they're prepared to do right now. Magic is making the most money it's ever made in history right
It
now.
is still by far the most popular game.
Right.
Card game.
But they probably have zeroed out
It's-
their budgets.
It seems as though they've not prepared for this.
Right.
So
But it's something that they really should look into and just saying to themselves, like, okay, we want to promote our pro circuit. Here's what we should do. So let me read to you what Jerry Thompson says Magic should do. And you kind of tell me your thoughts on this altogether. So
sure.
this is what Jerry Thompson says that he would like to change in this situation. Star build, meaning he would just like the professionals to be made stars, like to be
Sure.
touted, to be talked about, to be shown in some way. I was telling you when we were having a casual conversation about this that back in the day, Magic used to include cards with pro professionals on them.
Right.
And they would have like their all-time earnings from pro tours and
Man, that's
things
crazy.
like that. And it was really cool. They used to have that, but they stopped doing that.
Huh.
Number two, he says hire commentators who can follow the game, are familiar with the formats, and
Oh, yeah?
can provide engaging commentary.
That one's kind of shocking that that's not a thing already.
So there are guys who can follow the game,
Sure.
but are not engaging in their commentary.
Personality-wise are not the best.
And there are guys who don't have great personalities,
Or have great
or
personality.
have great personalities, but can't really follow the game.
Sure.
And this is something that regular sports have kind of gotten into with what's called a color commentator.
You got one that's focused on one that's focused
That's
on
exactly right. Like there's one guy who's the statistics guy who knows everything.
Yeah.
And he usually talks like this.
Yeah.
And you I'm going to say the name Tim Kirchin, and you don't know who that is. Never mind.
Oh,
Yeah, get out of here.
Tim's the freaking best.
But he is. I love Tim Kirchin. But anyway, on the other
know
side is a
Joe
color
Buck.
commentator who
I know Joe
and
Buck's a
Joe
person.
Joe Buck is
Everybody
a color
loves him,
commentator.
right?
No.
I know.
Joe Buck is a color commentator, and his job is to talk about sports and exciting. And usually, color commentators will know everything that's happening now. They won't know the statistics. They won't know the history.
Right.
So in Magic, there would be guy A, and he'd be saying like, "Yeah, this reminds me of a combo back in the Ice Age days."
Sure.
Or this reminds me
Or-
of this. And guy B would probably be like, "I don't know what you're talking about." but guy B would know everything from that standard format that's being played right now.
Right.
And he'd be able to, and he'd also be really exciting. And
Or,
he'd be
or
like,
yeah,
oh!
be exciting, or be able to comment on like the players themselves. Be like,
Right.
yeah, he tends to do this kind of thing a little bit more than like they play off of each other. And that's, we don't really think about it. Like, I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to like pro sports, would be less interested in watching pro sports if there was no commentators.
Oh,
If
absolutely.
it's literally just watching guys play football and there's nobody talking about what's going on, that's a lot more boring.
Something that was done with the invention of the portable radio and is still done today with cell phones is people will go to a professional sports game, plug in headphones, and tune into the radio
Yeah,
broadcast
and
of
all
that
you
game.
hear are the commentators.
Yeah.
You don't.
So you hear the commentators while you're watching the game, because even though you're at the stadium watching the game,
Oh, okay, I see.
yeah, like people will be at the stadium watching the game and they'll plug in the radio commentator.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to watch the game. It really, really is. Watching it live is great, but the commentators help. They
Sure,
really,
sure.
really do. So, number 3, he says, create more Pro Tour invites.
Yeah.
Right now,
Just
the
widen
World
your
Tour
base.
has 24 invites. This is something that sports are doing already with what's called expansion teams.
Mm-hmm.
And expansion teams have been going around for a long time, where, baseball originally had like 20 teams, and now it's got 30 because they just had
Right.
added teams
More
over
popular
the years.
and-
Football's looking to add a couple more. I think they're going to get up to 32.
I've heard 32 recently, which is
Yeah.
actually kind of a jump. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just more teams means more people to support their area, or more invites means more people to come, and then all of a sudden you'll get these situations where some guy who came out of Nowheresville,
Yeah.
Ohio,
Right.
is like, whoa, this guy's like, who is this guy? We don't know. He's come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's an exciting story.
Sure.
People
Yeah.
love underdog
They're even doing
stories.
something like that with the World Cup. They are expanding the number of teams invited to the World Cup
Yeah.
in 2020.
Yeah.
Which just show like, I mean, cool. More people get to play. I think B, business side. Hey, that's just more money making opportunity. That's just more people to get branded. That kind of thing. So, again, everybody wins. It seems
Yeah,
like.
yeah, absolutely. And the only thing that was bad about it is that statistically, if you were a longtime fan, your beloved player or team now has a less statistical chance of making it. Instead of a 1 in 30, now it's a 1 in 32.
Statistically, but it always revolves around your skill level.
Right.
I think.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it could just make it more exciting.
Yeah, it really can. And finally, he says, I'd like Woods of the Coast to value the working relationships they have with partners and various community members. What he's saying is that, if you read the whole article and everything else, he's saying that right now they're treated like tools. And again, like I said before, he to his experience, obviously neither Fox nor I are professional Magic players, so we don't know. But to
Not
his
anymore.
experience, he's saying that they are treated in a way that says you should be thankful that you are a professional. You should appreciate us. Like, this is us benefiting
Right. You're part of
you.
the process, not the focus.
Right. And so he's saying, look, just treat us nicely. Like, open a relationship with us. And I think, to me, communication with your players is huge. That's one of the things that we were talking about with the 20 things he learned in 20 years.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
listen to your players.
Listen to what they say. They are the ones that you need to support.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, I guess I would say that I think that obviously we're taking this from Jerry's word.
Sure. Yeah. Although here's the thing, we should mention Wizards of the Coast has responded.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's a very, very short thing. I don't have it in front of me, but I could basically summarize it as, we respect his opinion. We're working on it. And then
All right.
every response to that from everybody ever is, yeah, you've said that for years now.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of crap. Nobody
Yeah.
believes you. And that's essentially what they said.
Man. So at the end of the day, Wizards doesn't have to do anything. They can
No.
happily live the way that they are right now, but they're missing out on a great opportunity.
Yeah, come in on this like the upswing of pro gaming, and also, do you know how many trading card games there are now?
Right. Absolutely.
We've gotten 2 new ones in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, I mean, that's not new, but Final Fantasy, Dragon Ball just has a new one now.
Yep.
Like, there's competition. Watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can't rely on your popularity forever. You got to change. You got to do some stuff different. And this is something that could really help you. And I've said several times, like, I am a huge baseball fan. I know about football. I know about basketball. I've tried to get into them like I've gotten into baseball. I don't think I can.
Sure.
I think I could get into pro gaming like I could get into baseball,
Yeah.
though.
No. What I've loved, is it? There's the team tournament where there are actual like branded teams from different places. What's the game that it's for though?
Overwatch?
Overwatch. Yeah. I think
Overwatch League?
Yeah, Overwatch League.
Yeah.
That's been the coolest thing to me.
Yeah,
To be able to
absolutely.
be like, yeah, I'm a fan of the Dallas so-and-sos. I
Yeah.
don't know their names. I haven't really gotten into it. But I really like the, like, it's legitimately looking more like a professional gaming league rather than just we play Overwatch for money.
Yeah,
Like,
if I liked Overwatch, I would be all about that.
right, yeah. To be able to root on your team
Right.
and to, like, see the stats that have come out after each match and whatever.
That'd be
Like, that's
so
what people
cool.
love, you know?
And to have professionals in Magic like that you want to pay attention to,
Yeah.
I would be into that.
Yeah.
I would be.
It'd be really cool.
Well, guys, let us know what you think about Jerry Thompson's protest. Let us know what you think about the way that Woods of the Coast or any other organization treats their professionals. Thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate you guys being here with us. And remember, saved games, save lives.
Bye.